Chen Yu slowly lowers his trembling lantern toward the darkness beneath the bed. Only the warm lantern light illuminates the old wooden floor while complete darkness hides whatever. Chen Yu slowly sits upright in bed, staring toward the darkness beneath the wooden bed. His frightened face is illuminated by the flickering oil lamp. At an old wooden bedroom, Chen Yu suddenly wakes up in the middle of the night. A traditional Chinese oil lamp barely illuminates the room, while an old clock. Chen Yu quickly walks away from the bridge, but suddenly turns around for one last look. The stone bridge remains empty. The mysterious Crimson Coffin has completely disappeared. Close-up of Chen Yu remembering his grandmother's warning. His frightened face is illuminated only by the warm lantern light, while the Crimson Coffin silently drifts below. Ancient Chinese horror, psychological tension, is old but perfectly preserved, decorated with faded golden carvings. Chen Yu stares down in terror while holding the lantern tightly. Dense fog, supernatural atmosphere, cinematic. Chen Yu suddenly stops walking as he hears mysterious knocking beneath the bridge. He slowly lowers his lantern toward the dark river, his face frozen in fear. Thick fog swirls over the water. Ancient Chinese horror. Chen Yu carefully steps onto an ancient weathered stone bridge crossing a dark river. The water below is completely black, while dense fog covers the entire surface. The lantern casts a warm orange glow across the wet stones. Eerie silence, cinematic horror composition. Chinese paper lantern. Thick fog surrounds the ancient forest, while old dead trees lean over the narrow path. The distant silhouette of his forgotten village appears beneath the mountains. Hand-painted Chinese horrors and narrow stone paths. An elderly storyteller stands beside an ancient stone bridge while frightened villagers quietly listen. In the distance, a mysterious crimson-red coffin floats silently along the dark river. Ancient Chinese horror atmosphere. I'm sorry, but I couldn't generate the image because the image generation service encountered a temporary error. Please try again in a moment. Relieved, Chen Yu begins to stand. Suddenly, a single wet crimson footprint appears beside the bed. Then another, then another. They slowly form a trail toward the bedroom door. No person is visible. The old wooden door slowly opens by itself. Cold wind enters. The lantern flame shakes violently. Outside, only endless white fog. From somewhere inside the fog, a deep male voice whispers, "Chen Yu, no one is visible." The invisible voice grows closer. Chen Yu never speaks. A crimson wedding envelope slowly slides across the wooden floor. It stops beside Chen Yu's feet. The envelope is completely dry. The surrounding floor is covered with fresh water. Chen Yu refuses to touch it. The lantern shines toward an old bronze mirror. Inside the reflection, a tall faceless figure wearing ancient Chinese funeral robes stands silently behind Chen Yu. Chen Yu immediately turns around. Nothing is there. The knocking begins again, not beneath the bed, inside the walls. The sound slowly circles the room. Chen Yu backs away in fear. A dark crimson stain slowly spreads across the wooden floor. It forms the outline of a massive Chinese coffin, exactly the same shape as the coffin on the river. The lantern suddenly goes out. Complete darkness. A wooden coffin lid slowly creaks open. A deep male voice whispers beside Chen Yu, "I finally found you." The first rays of sunlight slowly shine through the old paper window. The terrifying night has finally ended. Chen Yu sits silently on the edge of his bed. His lantern is still in his hand. He convinces himself everything that happened last night must have been a nightmare. As Chen Yu stands up, he suddenly freezes. The wooden floor beneath the bed is still soaked with fresh water. The crimson footprints remain exactly where they appeared during the night. Nothing has disappeared. Chen Yu cautiously follows the trail of wet footprints. They stretch across the bedroom, through the hallway, toward the front door. Halfway there, they suddenly turn back into the house. The footprints stop before the ancient ancestral shrine. Dust covers everything. No one has entered for many years. Fresh water slowly drips onto the floor. Chen Yu lights incense. As the smoke rises, he discovers one ancestral portrait has completely disappeared. Only an empty wooden frame remains. Chen Yu pushes an old wooden cabinet. It slowly slides aside. A narrow hidden wooden door appears behind it. The wet footprints continue beneath the door. Chen Yu opens the hidden door. Ancient stone stairs descend into darkness. His lantern barely lights the narrow passage. Cold air rises from below. Halfway downstairs, Chen Yu discovers an old red ceremonial rope stretched across the passage. Ancient yellow talismans hang from it. One intact talisman reads, "Do not open." The knocking returns. Not inside the walls, not beneath the bed. It now comes directly beneath the stone floor. Slow, heavy, like something trapped inside a massive wooden coffin. The lantern flickers. The wet footprints suddenly reverse direction. They now point upward, as though someone invisible has climbed the stairs behind Chen Yu. The lantern suddenly goes out. Complete darkness. Chen Yu slowly climbs back up the ancient stone stairs. His paper lantern flickers weakly. The hidden wooden door quietly closes behind him by itself. The knocking finally stops. The house becomes completely silent. Chen Yu cautiously searches every room. Everything appears completely normal. The crimson footprints have disappeared. The wet floor has become perfectly dry. Only his lantern suddenly begins glowing with an unnatural crimson light. Chen Yu steps outside. The entire ancient village is swallowed by dense white fog. Every wooden house stands silent. No people, no animals, only endless mist. A distant bronze bell suddenly rings. Chen Yu slowly turns toward the mountain road. Something is approaching. From the thick fog, 4 ancient coffin bearers slowly emerge. They wear faded traditional funeral clothing. Their faces remain hidden beneath bamboo hats, silently carrying a massive crimson coffin. The crimson coffin is identical to the one from the river. Ancient golden carvings glow faintly. Dark river water slowly drips beneath it. The coffin bearers stop only a few meters away. Complete silence. They slowly lower the crimson coffin onto the stone road. A deep male voice echoes from inside the coffin. No one opens it. No one moves. The invisible voice whispers, "Carry me home." Chen Yu never speaks. The 4 coffin bearers slowly lift their heads. Beneath each bamboo hat, only endless darkness. 2 glowing crimson eyes appear inside each shadow. The crimson coffin lid slowly slides open, only a few inches. A pale white hand reaches over the edge. Its long fingers gently knock against the coffin. Chen Yu's lantern immediately goes out. The crimson coffin lid slowly continues opening. Cold white mist slowly pours out. Chen Yu stands frozen. His extinguished lantern hangs in his trembling hand. Chen Yu slowly approaches. Inside the coffin, there is no corpse, only an ancient bronze mirror. Fills the village hundreds of years ago. Villagers surround the crimson coffin. A young bride cries. An old Taoist priest desperately tries to stop the ceremony. The villagers force the bride toward the crimson coffin. The Taoist priest performs an ancient ritual. The crimson mist swallows everything. The mirror suddenly cracks. The invisible male voice echoes, "They buried the living. Now the dead shall never rest." Chen Yu watches silently. The Taoist priest writes one final warning. The ancient scroll reads, "Never allow the crimson coffin to return home." The scroll catches fire. Chen Yu looks away. The 4 coffin bearers have disappeared. Only the crimson coffin remains standing alone inside the dense fog. A wooden name tablet appears beneath the mirror. It bears only one name, Chen Yu. The pale white hand reaches from inside the coffin. It points directly toward Chen Yu. The invisible male voice whispers, "Your family began this curse." The bronze mirror suddenly changes. Chen Yu now sees himself lying inside the crimson coffin. The lid slowly begins closing. Darkness. The truth about the crimson coffin. The crimson coffin was never meant to bury the dead. It is a sealed coffin, created over 300 years ago by Taoist priests to contain the ghost bride, an immensely powerful vengeful spirit. Long ago, the villagers forced a living bride into a ghost marriage, Minghun, as a sacrifice, causing her to die tragically and transform into a vengeful demon. To prevent her wrathful spirit from escaping, they nailed her inside the crimson coffin and cast it into the river. Why was Chen Yu chosen? Chen Yu's family happens to be the direct descendants of the ancient village chief. His family was the last line of guardians keeping the secret of the seal. According to the curse, every 300 years, a descendant of the lineage must either renew the seal or take the place of the one inside the coffin. That is why the crimson coffin has always been seeking Chen Yu. The climax. In the final episode, Chen Yu realizes he is faced with 2 choices. Choice 1. Sacrifice himself by stepping into the crimson coffin to seal the vengeful spirit for another few centuries. Choice 2. Destroy the crimson coffin. He chooses to destroy it. The coffin shatters. The vengeful spirit is unleashed. The entire village is swallowed by a sea of crimson mist. Hundreds of spirits, sealed for centuries, emerge all at once. The final twist. The audience assumes Chen Yu is dead. Days later, the police arrive only to find an old lantern, the bronze mirror, and the crimson coffin gone without a trace. A few months later, a stranger crosses the stone bridge. Down in the river below, a brand new crimson coffin slowly floats upstream. The familiar knocking echoes, knock, 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 fade to black.